Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by CMG Home Loans. And of course, I'm Harvey Freed and he's Harry Glanz.
You know, Harvey, I love the introduction, but more importantly, I love all the energy.
Yes,
Jacob, good word
here,
coming in here.
here.
How about the energy downtown? How about the energy for the draft? How about the energy on the first two picks of the Lions? How about the energy that Becky Alley brings? Becky, how about that energy?
What is going on? I had to put on my Honolulu blue today because it is draft weekend in Detroit. What an exciting time. I mean, man, it's like 275,000 people. I've been watching it on TV. I haven't wanted to get down there just yet. I was thinking about going down there today, but
I like your old school lid.
Yeah, what sweet. A vibe, what an energy. And speaking of vibes, we got my girl Yaz in the house from the Home Co. I'm so excited for your independent. You're doing your thing, and I love all the success that I watch you have every single day. Congratulations, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, guys. I'm so excited to be back. I love this group. You guys have so much energy, and I love that you guys are talking about the draft because I'm not a sports girl, and I feel really bad saying that, but I have massive FOMO when it comes to what's going on in downtown. I want to be down there so badly, but
it's really
I also
cool.
don't want to.
Do you know that
I don't want to people that bad.
Do you know that 90? So Paul Serra, the guy that runs the board for the show that previous was here, he told me in order to break the record, they need we need 90,000 more people today.
Oh, we got it.
And we break the record, which you know what's going to happen.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And this is Detroit. We show
it's
up.
Saturday.
Oh,
yeah, we show up.
What else are you doing?
I know that everyone's showing up on a school night. It's the weekend now. Forget about it.
Yeah.
And they're like, rain's not going to stop us. It's supposed to stop around 12 o'clock. So I'm excited to see us break all the records because people don't throw shade on Detroit.
Yeah.
You know, like you've been doubting the Lions for so long. I've been saying Lions in the Super Bowl for the last 5 years. It's happening.
Let's go there. Yes. Is this the best place to live then? Because honestly, we've talked about this a few years. Forget about affordability. That's a for sure. There's so much going on here in Detroit. Again, we got our sports teams, our great universities, great public schools, a lot of great things happening right in our own backyard.
Yeah, I mean, I have a massive bias, obviously, but I also used to live in downtown Detroit. I actually lived like right kind of on the southwest corner of like where Corktown is, behind the new like Michigan train station Ford kind of hybrid that they've got going on. And every single day I'm like, oh, I can't believe I moved out of the city because it's like a place to be. It really is.
It keeps going in the right direction. Hey, we're going to take your calls here on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, 248-539-9797. Yes, the Home Company. It's you started the company in the last year. Congratulations. I know you've been at real estate a long time.
Yeah, thank you.
So far, you got like 8 people on your team. I want to tell people, direct them to the website too, because you guys got some listings out there. Your team, they've got some homes listed out there. And of course, the market, that's really the talk of the market is what's the inventory going to shape up as we're definitely into the spring buying season already.
Yeah, I mean, it's like pretty peak, right? As far as like where the market is going right now. And, you know, we might see a few more pop up June, July, but, you know, this is really where it is right now. So the Home Company, I kind of kicked things off in January. I've been in real estate since 2008. So since the crash, I know, crazy time to get into it, but I did. And yeah, I finally kind of decided I wanted to go on my own, and I did. And kick things off in January. So the website is thehomecogroup.com. Anytime we have listings, they'll be listed there. And I actually have I do have 8 people, but we have really, really like honed in on the entire like southeastern area of Michigan. We're in Brighton, we're in South Lyon, we're downriver, we're in Ann Arbor. I don't even know how that happened. We have showings.
Ann Arbor is very niche, right?
Yeah,
so for you to crack that market,
Yeah, we have showings in Port Huron. I looked up Port Huron yesterday. I'm like, wow, that's even still an hour for me. But we've really, really just kind of like just hit every kind of pillar of like the Metro Detroit area. So we're all over the place if anybody needs anything or has any questions about it.
So yes, let's dive in deep here. You mentioned something that the market is the market. It's the same. What's going on is really, you know, what it is now. And what I mean by that is we're 4 months in, right? We're 4 months in.
I know, it doesn't even feel.
Right, 4 months in.
Yes. Oh my God.
So we're going into May 1st, and on January, and I always like to bring these things up because really this is a consumer advocacy show. We bring people like you on. We give the best advice. Okay, the best advice. Right down the middle, straight, no bias. It's the best advice, and I can say that because that's what people tell us. So I'm just, I'm just regurgitating what people tell us. January, our first show when we came back, what did we say? We said 2024 is going to be more of the same of 2023. What do we mean by that? Lack of inventory, rates going up, plenty of buyers, and the interest rates aren't deterring the buyers from coming out. If there were more houses, yes, and here we are 4 months in, we said this 4 months ago, if there were more houses on the market, it doesn't matter what the rates are.
Right.
So the rates aren't driving the market. The lack of inventory is driving the market.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I had the same idea about 2024. It definitely slowed down in 2023, but being in the business as long as I have, people start to adapt to interest rates and they kind of come back out of their homes and they get back into the market and they start shopping again. So, that's everything that we've seen. The only, unfortunate thing to it is not enough people are wanting to put their houses up for sale. So we have all this like crazy competition, and we might not be seeing the same competition we saw in like 2022, but it's here. Like I had a client who wrote an offer on a Hazel Park home the other day and it was in the 160s. So you thought you think the competition wouldn't be too bad. They got 25 offers. And it went over 200. It went over 200.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say,
and I was like, it's crazy, but I mean, it's here, it's happening again. And when people are ready to buy, they're ready to buy, and they figure it out usually. So, like to your point, it isn't the interest rates. It's like when you're ready, you're ready.
So, last question for me. I'm going to ask you. This is a one-word answer from you. So, if you were to advise people right now, and they say to you, "Hey, yes, what are prices doing right now? Are they going up or are they going down?"
Up.
There you go. That's it. It's easy, right?
Yeah.
So people understand that. I think they're getting used to it. That's where the market is. And we always say, and Becky will tell you, you just can't wait.
A lot of my conversations that I'm having with my buyers is, and they're understanding to that point of the rates. Everyone is settling into the idea that the rates do not come down as fast as they go up.
Right.
And we've been preaching that we were preaching it before it even happened. So like a lot of times when it's actually happening and people are talking about it, we're so past it here on the Hardcore Mortgage Show because we're moving on to the next thing because, you got to be raising your gaze, right? We're always looking forward. If you're looking at the wall, you're going to run into the wall. You have to just like move forward. But the conversations I'm having is you're locking in the price of the home. You're going to slide down when the interest rates happen when you're allowed to do that. And so if you lock in the price of the home, because that same house, we're not even at the full appreciation this year. There are talks about seeing up to 10%. We're 4 months in the year. You might even see, so let's just say you're halfway there. You still have another 5% appreciation that we're going to supposedly see by the end of the year. So if you're locking in a purchase right now, you're going to step in naturally to another 5% appreciation. So focus on that because that same house this time next year is probably going to be up another 10% from that. And in that point in time, you're going to slide down when these interest rates pull back. It's an election year. You never know what they're going to do. I think we'll probably see them like first of the year maybe, but it's not going to happen this year. And if it does, it's going to be like a very slight niche.
All right, even on our down payment assistance program, Becky, a lot of families didn't used to need them. They didn't need them. They had 10,000, they had 15,000, usually enough to get yourself into a starter home. Not anymore. You might need that extra money. So we love the down payment assistance program. Then you could use the extra money for what you're telling me is going on. Even in the first-time home buyer market, you say 160. Those homes are getting bid up to 200. And again, just run the math. 250 homes are getting bid up to almost 3.
Right.
And it just keeps going up and up. You need a little bit of extra money to be competitive in today's market.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, like the grants are great, but there's if you're interested in purchasing right now, you definitely want to get on the phone with the lender, figure out what you need to do for your financing, and really start to prioritize just what you need to do to be competitive. I mean, that's really as simple as it is. So as long as as long as you have a plan and you're not just kind of waking up and going, I can tackle the market right now. I mean, you probably could with some professionals as long as as long as you know what you're getting into. So I always say, like, if your max approval is 250, we need to start looking at things that are lower just so we can kind of get you there, unless you have more of the funds to, increase that amount on your own as far as cash to close.
Yep, I agree with you. And those are the conversations that the high level professionals are having with their clients. You have to go in, if your max is 250, we have to identify what your max is because of this market, because I have buyers in Westland, 165. I know that we are going up to 285 at least. But even with 200, right, you have to be ready to throw your hat in the ring, and you have to have these high level conversations as far as funds. You also don't have to be a first time buyer to get access to some of this money that's going to help you with these appraisal gaps. So you have to have these conversations so you're educated.
All right, hey, that's our first break here. 9/11, if you're just joining us, a little rain, it's going to clear up. Get down to Detroit, turn on the radio. We got tons of information for you. 248-539-9797. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. You can call us all week long at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. And of course, our Hardcore Mortgage Show always brings on all the top real estate agents. Yasmin Abdul-Latif, the home company. You can find Yaz on www.homecogroup.com. Homecogroup.com.
Yeah, I know. I like merged her website with her company name in the beginning.
Yeah, the state of Michigan just didn't have the home company available. So, we got to get creative.
For sure. 248-539-9797. You got those mortgage and real estate calls. Definitely want to hear from you. There's so much going on here. And again, the vibe just doesn't stop. Becky, we always talk about down payment assistance and the inventory and the things that are going on. Of course, those interest rates have continued to go up a little bit. Interesting statistics out there. Really just what's going on in the economy and inflation here. Trying to wrap our head around where this is going to go. Maybe one day soon they'll come down. But again, we don't see that.
Harvey, we can't get hung up on that. I was talking to a friend of mine who actually works at the Federal Reserve Bank in Chicago. It's part of the Federal Reserve System. But anyways, and he doesn't want to spout out opinions, all that kind of thing. But I did get him to say, listen, if you think rates are coming down anytime soon, they're not coming down anytime soon. Mm-hmm. So, It just is what it is. It doesn't matter. If there were more homes on the market and there were less buyers, and you would say rates are affecting home ownership in terms of the amount of homes that are on the market available for Yaz to sell, it's not. She has more buyers than she has properties, right? All realtors do right now. If they go to the bottom right-hand drawer in their office, in their desk, they've got a list of buyers, right? I mean, you could put people in the house today.
Absolutely.
If they were available.
Yes, absolutely.
But
so if you
not.
have a house, please sell it.
Yeah, I do think that the sellers, everyone has to move at some point in time. I feel like they're going to start unlocking those golden, equity handcuffs that they have. The thing is like you romanticize about the interest rate, right? Oh, I'm living in this house that no longer serves me, but I have 3%.
Right.
But I don't like it. It's not where I'm aging in place in the wrong ways, or I moved here because I was remote. Now I'm getting called back to work, but I'm still driving longer than I want to because I have this 3% interest rate. But if it doesn't serve you, you need to move on. The average market rate is still like in the 6%. We can still get in the high sixes in some of these situations. But you need to have a conversation because that same house that you're eventually going to buy when the rates do come down, everyone and their mom is going to buy it too. And the home price is going to be a lot more. Capitalize on that equity you have. Make sure it makes sense. Get in contact with someone like Yaz. See where you're at, and then find the house that suits you. Because if you can afford the house at this price point now, when the rates do come down, you're sitting pretty, and that's where you have to really take your mind. Because, even like car payments. I talk about this stuff, but no one bats an eyelash at paying $1,000 or $800 a month for their car. Yeah, but their car. But they're like, oh my God, my mortgage payment is $1,500. Right. It's you have to really just change your perspective on what you're really doing. And do you want your car that you can afford in your own driveway or someone else's driveway?
People are really, everybody has their own priorities, right? And everybody has their own perspective. So when they say, the house is too expensive, or I don't want to pay $200 more for my payment, or I don't want a 7% interest rate. Yeah, but look what you're doing in your other parts of your life.
Right.
18 to 22% on credit cards, but that's okay. Right. But that's okay. $1,100 a month car payment. But
my car payment went up like $400,
right.
and I was just like, "This is the new norm,"
Well, but you're like, that's cool. And I always say it. Everybody was complaining when gas went from $1.75 to $2 a gallon, but now they're not complaining when it's $3.50, $3.75. I don't understand it, and the reason is people got used to it.
Yeah, we adapt.
So you adapt that, but then you have to look back, and this is why, as consumers, we're being taken advantage of. Okay, whatever happened during COVID. That's 4 years ago, 4 years ago, right? Prices didn't come down. They went up. COVID's over, but prices are up. You want to know why?
Because they know we'll pay it.
Because we paid it.
Yeah.
So, so the whole rate discussion, the whole houses going up discussion, well, what do you think's going to happen? You're on the bonus plan if rates come down, and if they do come down, chances are the price of your house, the value of your house, the appreciation of your house is going to go up. That's the bonus plan. So get in that house right now. Then when they come down, because they will, but we don't know when, then you refinance it and you save the money. But you have to find the house. You can't talk about low rates and getting in a house if you're not in a house.
Right, yes. And the same time with like new construction, right? So until new construction bridges this gap that we have between existing homes that are already built on the market that people are not giving up. And until they bridge that, we're going to be in an inventory issue, which is going to continue to make these homes prices increase. Now, eventually, I do think we will see a plateau. They're not going to go to the moon in every market. But if you look in Florida, it's already starting to become a little bit of a buyer's market. But in Michigan, we're so affordable. And that's why people are coming from the outside into Michigan. I talk about it often. The investor does not care what his interest rate is because he knows you're going to pay that rent and he's going to cash flow that property. So if you are renting right now and you want to throw your hat in the ring, like Yaz was saying right before the break, you can't fall in love with the house and then try to go attack it right now. You have to be prepared. You have to have a game plan. You have to know what your budget is, and you have to know where this money is coming from. I have too many conversations with too many buyers that are getting those letters from their landlords that are going to sell that property. And they're like, Becky, I need to buy this house. I have 45 days. And I'm just like, okay, what are we looking at for funds? I have $1,000 saved. And then, so now I'm working backwards to see how I can help them find money. And you can't do that to yourself. You have to be budgeting. You have to be looking down the road of where you're going. And I love the fact that we can see things for people that they can't see for themselves, but you have to have a game plan.
So, yes, this is great. You'll love this. Everybody will love her. Jacob, you'll love it. Cookie Monster. We've got the dog in the studio, which makes me happy. Harvey, I love dogs. I don't care. You bring a dog near me, it's over. I love dogs. Okay.
Yeah, we like dogs.
So, anyways, this is the greatest email I saw in recent history. Becky Alley sends an email to her team. Okay, this is great. The homeowner's insurance policy was costing this client $1,387 a year.
Not too bad.
Okay, wait. Becky sends an email to the team. Call the insurance company and see if they can get it down to under $1,000. Okay, not more than an hour later, we get the quote. We get the quote back, $987. Now, why didn't they do that in the first? Becky, why didn't they do that in the first place?
Listen, you got to see you got to see the gaps. And I have a special gift, and some of us have it where I can see it.
Yeah, your gift, okay.
No, what I'm saying is that you have to see it. And sometimes when you're like, hey, you need homeowners insurance, the consumer is just calling and saying, I need this. But you can see when you can get that a little bit cheaper, and that saves people money.
Right. So that's what we do. We try to save people money no matter where we can save it. Okay. So yes, this is the best thing.
You don't ask, you don't get.
You were used to somebody just fires off a quote, and we're going, okay.
Right. Yeah.
No, it's not okay.
Yeah,
Why?
shop.
It was unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Well,
Why?
you got to learn more too. I mean, you could change the deductible on this. You could do multiple policies. Again, you got to educate yourself just on that little piece right there, and all of a sudden, now you qualify. Now you got your homeowner's insurance down $300-400.
Yeah. So you have someone saying, "Well, I want my payment to be $1,500." Well, they send me a quote for $2,000 for homeowner's insurance, and like, Becky, my payment's higher. What changed? I'm like, your homeowner's insurance. We got a call. We get on the phone. This is what you say to them. They make a call, and they just don't know what to say. And I'm proud to be in alignment with a lot of amazing people like Yaz, like ourselves, like our insurance providers that we can, we communicate. You have to give them direction sometimes. And it's not about bending rules. It's just, the coverages. There's things that they can do.
You don't ask, you don't get. And there are certain things, and we could save people money in so many different ways. It's not always about the rate that you're getting. Okay. It's about other things too.
Yes.
And you go ahead and you say to yourself, you just have to take a step back and say, listen, we'll take care of it for you. Let us make our calls. Let us do our thing. And then we'll try and do our best for you.
Yeah.
And that's what you do. I mean, that's what you do. You want to go in, and yes, I know you because you come from the heart. You're going to do what's best for the client. Okay. That's
Absolutely.
it. That's how you feel. You're going to do what's best for the client. So if you can get a better situation, more occupancy, some seller's concessions. Okay, you're never going to tell them to waive the inspection because that's a protection mechanism that only that between you and that buyer know that things could go wrong. But you're going to provide that service where you're going to end up in the long run saving those people money.
Absolutely. And, you mentioned the people who kind of are like, hey, my landlord just gave me this cease and desist. And those people are kind of like scrambling, right? But, to your point, like there are different things that we can do. For example, you can increase the price to get those concessions if you really need the cash. We talked about inspection waivers. You don't need to waive your inspection, but you can absolutely do a repair waiver. Maybe you're comfortable with repairs up to $1,000, up to $2,000, and that can make your offer that much more competitive. So that there are definitely things if you're kind of in that tight corner, and working with the realtor is going to help you figure out what those things are.
All right, the
I want
show's
to
flying
say
by,
that topic
guys.
when we come back. I just want an offer for that, exactly what you're talking about.
All right, 248-539-9797. Keep it here. Oh,
How do you guys
all right.
know?
We are back here live in the studio, 9:30, and the rain is going away here. Live, it's a
Thank
Hardcore
goodness.
Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. I'm Harvey Freed, Harry Glanz, Becky Alley, of course, on the mortgage side of things here.
On
from
the
Hardcore
ones and
Mortgage side.
twos.
On the mortgage
Hey.
side. Yasmin, of course, joins us here, and we got lots to talk about. So I started talking about this at the break that let's go to, in fact, bring up Matt if you can, Eric. Hey, Matt, we'll let you go ahead because you've got this condo that you're involved with a buyer. Matt, just tell us about what's for sale out there.
Yeah, so I know you guys love to give your listeners deals, so I've got a great deal for you guys. Got a 3-bed, 3-bath condo in Novi. We're asking $229. It's beautiful. The community has a pool, a clubhouse. It has great morning sun. The front door faces east.
Nice.
We're doing an open house from 11 to 1 today. So if you're looking for an affordable Novi condo entry level place, 3 generous bedrooms, a finished basement, you've got a garage. You have no
And
rear
parking.
neighbors. Yep. So you've got no rear neighbors. The address is 22857 Cranbrook.
All right,
They
Matt,
put
I wouldn't be
9-5
me. Matt, it's Harry. I wouldn't be me if I didn't ask you, what are the condo association dues
There
per
you go.
month?
They're $422 a month. But that, like I said, it comes with a community house and a pool. So you've got pool without having to worry about maintenance or anything like that. No rear neighbors. You've got a private deck off the back. It's a great place for anybody who just wants to have their kids in some of the best schools over out in Novi, Michigan. If you're looking for a starter house, we're pretty affordable. Condos in that complex are typically selling between $265 and $280. So at $230, you're really getting a bargain. So instant equity. So 22857 Cranbrook. We're going to do an open house from 11 to 1 today. Everybody's invited. If you're a realtor and you have a buyer looking, it's a go and show. So please bring your clients by. I got a motivated seller, so we'd really love to put a deal together this weekend.
Outstanding. Thanks
Thanks,
for
Matt.
calling, man. That's awesome.
Hope you're doing well,
And
my man. We'll see you soon.
we always invite agents
Yeah,
to give
be safe, guys.
You got
Thank
it.
you.
so much.
We always invite agents to give us a call and, of course, find out what's out there and some interesting. But I mean, think about that starting point there. So you get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath garage,
With
basement,
parking.
condo with parking, a lot of amenities, a clubhouse, a pool that you don't have to maintain. Not bad at all. He said there's no neighbors behind you. There you go. Like these diamonds in the rough, they pop up every now and then.
Yeah.
So yes, that's where I was sort of headed with the conversation at the break was you have to be in the real estate community and you're always talking amongst each other. Like we do this at the office all the time. We're talking about different programs and ways to help families, but you guys do it in the real estate world and you top agents all know each other and you reach out to each other and say, hey, I've got one here. This is a real winner.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of us are part of like community pages on Facebook or on social media. And a lot of us are like, hey, this is going to be coming up. Sometimes sellers don't really want to be burdened with, just being trampled by showings over a weekend or having to leave their homes. Or some people just don't really want that many people in their house. So sometimes they are open to accepting an offer before the home hits the market. So if you're interested, start to communicate with different realtors. You should be interviewing realtors anyway when you're getting ready to hit the market. So try to find out like how many people have like inventory coming up, or if you're scouting a realtor like in Royal Oak, like myself, like ask me like, hey, do you have any Royal Oak listings coming up? Like a lot of my clients work with me because they're like, hey, we've seen your listings. We know you probably talk to a lot of people in the community.
Right.
You probably have listings that are going to come up in this specific area because this is your niche. So you definitely want to communicate with the realtors that are in the areas that you're really trying to move into.
Well, that's what I mean, I like you as a person, obviously. You're like
I like you too.
You're a good person, right? But but you also project that on your social media, right? What you see of Yaz on social media, on her sites, she is every bit of that morning, noon, and night. She's not a chameleon. She is giving you her heart and soul all the time. And that's why people just naturally gravitate to you. And once you interview someone like Yaz, you're not going anywhere else because she's treating you like family. She's treating you like a friend. She's treating you like her pretty little cookie monster sitting on her lap. She loves animals. That means she's a good person, okay?
Yeah,
But
you have
she's-
to love animals to be
Yeah.
a good person.
But not only is she a good person, but she's an amazing real
but if you
estate
meet her in
agent.
person, you get
she's
that
an
vibe
amazing real
immediately.
estate agent.
Thank you guys.
professional.
No question.
I just love this right
Yeah,
now.
no, but it's the truth.
Hey, you
And-
brought the dog. That helped.
Yeah, I know. I was like, let me
I mean,
warm
all-
them up.
Jacob,
all of
not
us-
so much. The
Yeah.
dog
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and all of us sitting in this room, though, we have that PhD of we went through that housing market crash.
Yeah,
that is
absolutely.
something that you can't teach someone how we had to navigate all that. We have the experience, and so when
Very
things get
wild
a little,
times.
yeah, so when things get a little bit tough, it's like, so what? we're going to adapt, we're going to evolve. And the one thing about real estate, it's that it's constantly changing, right? It doesn't say the same, it's changing, but you have to be a part of the evolution that real estate is. And I'm proud to be always sitting right next to you, and I'm clapping for you always because I love all your success. You're amazing.
Thank you. You know, you mentioned, the evolution of real estate, and I hate to bring this up because I know this is a topic for everyone right now. But the NAR settlement, right?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I actually had some instances recently at the company, and I kind of wanted to talk to just anyone who might be listening, especially if you're a buyer and you're kind of interested in how you're going to be paying for commission. So obviously, it hasn't gone into effect, so we're not really sure if it's going to. But if it is, we've already started to get buyers who are asking us about, how they're going to pay us. And we've already had buyers who are like, hey, we're actually going to be interviewing realtors.
So, yes, let's role play for a second. This is great that you brought this up. Everybody out there, the National Association of Realtors, now, as Yaz said, they came down and it's not even in effect yet. And it might not go into effect because I think they're studying it. It might not. Okay.
Right.
But here, I'm a buyer. Hey, yes, I just read that I don't have to pay. I can negotiate my commissions. You know what? I'm not paying you.
You're my seller, right?
Yeah.
Just making sure.
I am.
Yeah, seller, yes.
I am. I'm your seller. I don't think I'm paying you.
Okay, so I mean, you don't want to pay me as a listing agent?
I don't know. I just read all this stuff. It just says I don't have to pay.
Okay, so I mean, if you want to put your home on the market on your own, so be it. That's something that you've always been able to do for sale by owner. If you are looking to kind of remove yourself from the tire kickers and people who are actually represented and people who actually are prepared to purchase your home at a competitive price, then you probably want a professional who's going to be guiding you through that, and you probably want a professional who's going to be guiding them as well.
So what you're telling me really is nothing's changed. I can either sell it myself and do all the work,
exactly,
or I hire you like I would have normally done.
Exactly.
And it's the same
Get
thing,
more for
right?
the house, maybe. How about that?
Oh, wait, we're role playing.
Yeah.
Harvey, we're role playing.
Yeah.
We're role playing. Come on, hold on.
Yeah.
So
statistically, when you list a home on your own, you usually do lose out on some of the money just because there is someone who's going to be competing, to get that price up for you. So if you don't have that liaison, then you're going to be doing it on your own. And, more times than not, you get a little burnt out because you have people who are just going to be calling you nonstop, asking you random questions. You're going to have neighbors who are
I don't
want
to do the work myself. I don't want to do it. I don't want it. I want you to do the work for me.
Okay, great. Let's do this.
And you know what?
Okay,
yes, one thing that's never changed is still those Saturday morning and Sunday afternoon calls. Becky, we get them all the time. Hey, Harvey, we talked a couple months ago and I need an approval letter. I'm like, well, what about your documents? You're not ready to go necessarily.
But yes,
and
that's really the thing, right?
Out.
It's really not changing. It's only out there because it's out there and people just think you're going to sell their house for way less commission.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of noise right now.
Take it on the buyer's side now.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise right now.
So the seller doesn't want to contribute towards a buyer's commission.
Yeah, so that's what we've been running into. We've been running into, so it hasn't been sellers haven't really been wanting to pay listing agents. I think sellers are aware that if they want a professional, they're going to usually pay for it. It's more so like, I just don't feel like I need to pay for the buyer agent who's going to bring that, buyer over here. So that's what we've been dealing with. And in an instance when that's happening, that listing agent has already had an agreement with that seller. So there's not much we can do on a buying agent side to get that seller to want to work with us. But sometimes we can increase the price to see if the seller will give us some concessions towards the buyer's financing to go towards the buyer's agent. We've also kind of come into a situation recently where a seller did decide that they didn't want to pay us on the buy side. So we asked the buyer, and they said they didn't want to increase the offer for concessions either. They were like, it's just not something we're going to do. So we actually had to have a conversation with the buyer and say, hey, listen, like this seller actually doesn't want to pay us. So you have two options. You can go into this deal unrepresented. You can kind of work it on your own, have the inspection, probably not really have anyone help negotiate the inspection for you, not really help you with any of the documents that are going to come up, not really help you with the closing statement and just kind of what you're going to be looking at for cash to close, not really helping you with the walkthrough, or, you can actually pay for this on your own, and it can be something that we can talk to your lender about for financing. And that's actually something I kind of want to kick back to you guys too, because more noise, right? Mm-hmm. Like I've heard that, maybe concessions now when it comes to commission doesn't have to go towards the total percentage for concessions when it comes to what a buyer's allowed to get. Is that noise?
I'm glad you just brought that up, actually. I wrote this in as there was some buyer's remorse during the pandemic time. And that's why I say you got to have professionals in there. National Association of Realtors reported that 22% of the buyers out there during the pandemic had some regrets, and some of it is underestimating repair cost. If you're looking at something it's your first or second home, you might not have the knowledge. So it's very important to have these professionals representing you. 18% underestimate the total cost of owning a home. And again, when you're bidding up a house and you're a buyer, there's many, many reasons why you need to have professionals representing you.
But yes, what you're asking is, how does that affect on the lender side? What are lenders going to do, and what are lenders going to look at?
Yeah.
Right, because typically, a buyer can get 4 to 6% concessions, 3 to 6%, right?
And
maybe
You can
more
go up to
sometimes.
9.
Okay, yeah. So
And
if-
right this second, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac haven't ruled on that yet.
Okay.
So there's no decisions have been made on that, and I think all the lending gurus, the people that we have to report to, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, are going to wait and see what happens on that July ruling. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's an important thing, and that's a question that we've been getting asked. But the status of that right now is there is no status.
Okay.
So
I do have, so we have a specific program. It's called Home Fund It, and it's an online gifting program. We have programs that have lender credits and grants built into them. So in these situations when we're having this upfront conversation with our buyer, we're trying to identify these specific programs that are going to help them absorb some of this money. So even though in this situation where the seller was unwilling to increase the purchase price, so now you're like, okay, what are we doing in this situation? Now you have to okay, how can the lender step in and give us some credits? Can you go higher on the rate? Can you do this, that, the other thing? So we can get creative in the Home Fund It program. We match dollar for dollar up to $2,000. So that if you're on $100,000 and you have a $3,000 commission, we can absorb $2,000 of that. So that's going to help alleviate some of that pain for that buyer. So these are things that we would go one-on-one, ping pong back and forth between us and the agent and get that buyer set up for success. So that, because you guys earn your paychecks, you guys work your butts off and you deserve that money.
I like what you said, Becky. Taking away the pain and the confusion. Get some professionals involved.
Absolutely.
248-539-9797. Keep it here. We're back live here in the studio, having some fun this morning. 10:45.
The real party's in the breaks.
Yeah,
right?
it's always
Yeah,
up.
it
Matt
is.
Caputo follows us. And then, of course, Tiger Baseball tonight, Dan Dickerson. And it's Dan Dickerson bobblehead night. One of my favorite broadcasters, Dan Dickerson. I love Tiger Baseball on the radio. I know you do, Harry. We're such a, Detroiters, we like that kind of stuff.
All right, real
Old-fashioned
quick,
baseball.
before we go to
Yeah.
our caller, on May 2nd, we have a women's group or women's event. It's called Ditch the Heels, Wear the Sneakers. So it's come as you are. Do all the things. Kim Adjemi is putting it on. Yeah, I got some extra tickets, so if you want to come, you
Ooh,
can
how
definitely be
exciting.
there. We're a sponsor. Our girls from Iconic Circle are doing live podcasts there. They've been on the show with us.
Yeah, we know
Love them. So you can actually get a discount code, Empower. Reach out to me on socials. I'll make sure you guys get hooked up. But it's San Marino in Troy, May 2nd. Reach out to me. It's going to be a good time. And if you're a women in business, show up, show out, and come as you are because it's going to be a good time.
Ditch the Heels, May 2nd. I love
Ditch
it. You
the
women
heels.
are doing everything in real estate. Okay, it's time for the men out there. Anyone listening out there, all the men real estate agents and lenders, we're going to put on a great event too. It's coming. I don't know when we're going to put it on. Probably right before football season or something. I mean,
Yeah.
manly. Can I come to this ditch the heels thing or no? Or
We'll talk about it.
all right, it doesn't sound like it. 248-539.
That's a nice way of saying no.
248-539-9797. Let's go to Kevin in Pontiac. Good morning, Kevin. Thanks for calling in. Go ahead,
Hey,
Kev.
good morning.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, good. Nothing much. I wanted to throw something at the group and get the opinions here. Before this NARA lawsuit came up, I had approached a handful of agents on the sell side. I'm selling my house, right?
Yeah.
And I live in Wixom, and I've approached them and said, look, if we can agree on a reasonable price, it's a seller's market. The house is going to go probably the first weekend.
Right.
Okay. So can we reduce the commission? And their immediate response is no. Well, we never know how quick it'll sell and that kind of thing. So I've said, okay, that's fair. Let's put a period of time in where if it sells within that window, I get the lower commission. If it doesn't, and again, we've agreed on a reasonable price and we're going to sell the house. If it doesn't, then we go right back up to your normal commission. And other than the obvious, I don't know why that's such a problem.
It sounds okay to me too. Yeah.
Wait. I want to hear what Yaz has to say.
Yeah. So
So the
This is
contract,
Yaz's question
listing
specifically.
contract.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin. So you said that you want a basically reduced commission amount if you're able to sell the home quicker rather than later, correct?
Yeah, in a hot market like this in Wixom, the houses go quick.
Okay. And I guess I if you're open to it, I just kind of want to understand why. Like why do you want it reduced in the beginning? Is it because you think it's going to go fast and it might not be as much work? Is that kind of
Yeah, there's less effort. There's you're dealing with a seller that's motivated, right? And that has already agreed upon a reasonable price. We both agreed on it. And if I get that price, what is the big deal?
Okay. So I think it's always going to be personal preference to the realtor. You know, realtors, they can really charge whatever they want when it comes to commission. And sometimes sometimes the broker kind of calls the shots if it's not a realtor who isn't a broker. But for the most part, I know that a lot of us will reduce our commission if we aren't able to sell the home as quickly as we promised to sell it, because we're usually very confident in how we price the home. So we say, hey, if we can't get this done in, some sort of guaranteed time frame, then we're going to reduce the commission because then, we might not be.
But the interesting part of that is if you haven't been able to sell my house, I don't want to waste any more time with you, right? So telling me you're going to sell it for a reduced commission because you haven't been able to sell it, for a period of time, that doesn't offer me any sort of satisfaction. I want somebody else working on my house now.
Okay, I want to chime in.
You've clearly proven.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
I totally get what you're saying. However, if a house is going to sell quickly, a lot of that has to do with that agent and those eyeballs that they're putting on that house, their experience, their knowledge. You have someone like Yaz walking in. People like to work with her. People are going to naturally gravitate to that property within the industry. So that is what's going to sell it. So therefore, they're earning every bit of that commission. Now, if it's sitting too long, then yes, I would almost say it would go opposite.
Yeah.
If it's sitting too long, that means that they maybe didn't do their job. So then at that point in time, you would maybe look at a reduced commission if that was even on the table. But those eyeballs are coming with that agent. The exposure,
Definitely.
everything.
So my original my original question was other than the obvious.
Yeah.
So it's the obvious.
Well, no, well, Kev, also think about it this way:
not
is
the
that
market sometimes.
is that if you hire Yaz, and she puts it out there, and then you get a tremendous amount of offers right off the bat, it's driving the price up. You're gonna get more for the house, so why wouldn't you pay a little bit more in commissions to get more for the house? And also think about this: in real life, when the state's doing the roads or there's a construction project, they're incentivizing people more to get it done quicker and less if it's taking too long a period of time. So kind of what you're asking is from a standpoint of what your thought process is. Hey man, it's a seller's market. I know it's going to go quick, so why would I pay more? I should pay less. When you really should be thinking about, listen, if you really have that philosophy that this house is going to go quickly in the first weekend, why not gather as many offers as you can, and the price is going to be driven up by the natural amount of offers that you're going to get.
I would also
Because
ask.
Hold on. Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, not you. Not you. Hold on, Kev. So what I'm saying is if you're going to get more money, isn't it all about how much money you're going to put in your pocket at the end of the day?
It is, but but I'm the one bringing the highly marketable, gonna move quick house. I'm the one showing up with the thing of value.
Okay, I'm not here, but what if you get, let's just use a number here, and this is just a hypothetical number. Let's say your house is worth 300 and you say, I can get 300,000 for it. Let's say Yaz says, wait, Kev, we've got 14 offers or people coming through here. I'm going to get 5 offers today. Maybe I can get you 325, 330.
Because I already had that conference with Yaz at the very beginning where we talked about what a reasonable price is, right?
No, but she's but the offers that come in, I'm just saying, I'm not arguing. I'm just saying, what if all these people come out of the woodwork? What if all these people are coming out of the woodwork and all of a sudden the price is going to 330? We've seen that happen right now. That's what's going on in this market, right, Becky?
Yes.
This is what's happening.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I don't know, Kevin.
That's all going to happen. That's all going to happen in that first weekend, right? That's all going to happen. So between Yaz and I, we're going to sit down and we're going to say, okay, look, we're going to get a lot of offers and we're going to set the price here. It's going to drive the number up. Let's say by Tuesday, we're going to put the house on the market on Friday. By Tuesday, all offers got to be in. Okay. We're going to pick one. And again, Kevin, because we signed this agreement, you're agreeing to take the highest offer because I want this done in a couple weeks. No more than a couple weeks. That's what the deal was for me to lower my commission. So off we go. By Tuesday night, we've got the offer. We accept it. And Yaz, if Yaz does nothing but cherry pick these kind of sales, Yaz is moving probably twice the volume, maybe making more on the commission side because not everybody's going to do this, right? Not everybody's going to ask for a reduced commission. But in the case where they do, she can do it real easy because she's only working with clients that are selling these kinds of houses.
So Kevin, I almost kind of wonder what the value proposition that a lot of these realtors are giving you are, because like when I sit down and I have a listing presentation with any of my clients, as far as my sellers go, I'm always letting them know like, hey, this is what the commission pays for. Like a third of my commission goes to marketing. So I'm going to not only be putting your property on the MLS, but I'm also going to be putting your property on Facebook, Instagram, any other website that I can, any other social media website, because I'm trying to get the eyes that aren't even looking on Zillow. I'm trying to get the people who are just spending 50% of their day scrolling through social media and trying to get them.
Because Yaz is only going to call the people in her contact list that she knows is looking for a house.
Yeah, that's definitely not what. That's not something that I would personally do. I would be getting as much engagement as possible from people who, like I said, aren't even looking at homes. Because I can't tell you how many times I've posted a listing to a Facebook page. I've paid almost $1,000 for a listing to actually get it boosted and blasted out to people who aren't looking at properties. And then I've been able to bring in more traffic. And I've had phone calls from people who are like, you know what? I wasn't even looking for a house. I was just on Facebook today. And I realized that this home is actually checking all of my boxes.
There you go.
So,
all right.
So, I mean, if you're working with a realtor who's going to give you a value proposition like that, then, they're probably really working hard for that commission. But to your point, you can always, like, I've done tiered commission like splits with clients where I've said, hey, If I can't get you X amount of dollars in the
like that,
first
yeah.
week, after that, we can talk about 2.5% or 2% or 1.5%. If that's the case, because I am very confident in what I'm going to bring to the table for you, and then I'm going to work my ass off to make sure that I can get you that.
Yeah,
I think
it's
we let
always
that
been.
go.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's always been a negotiation, hasn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, this is
absolutely.
nothing new. I don't think it's anything
Absolutely.
new, and I think it's
And-
open for discussion. And you know what? And look, people have choices. They can.
Yeah, and I would even say,
Hey.
Kevin, if you feel like you've been talking to realtors who maybe are not going to give you like what you're looking for, and you think that it's just your home that's going to sell it, then you should just sell it on your own. And that's exactly what I would tell any seller.
Yeah, I was going to go into that, and I think we lost Kevin, so we'll call him after the show.
Yeah, I love the conversation.
Yeah,
You know what?
because it was true. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
real
I mean, it
conversation
is a
that
good
the agents
question.
are up against. But in that case, if you're so strongly, then she was saying, like, sell it. If you sell it on your own, it's a lot more. It's a difficult.
Look, I'm Mr. Simpleton. Would I pay on a $500,000 house? Would I pay 1%, $5,000 more in commission to get another $30,000? Yeah, at the end of the
Absolutely,
day,
yeah, it's a
I'll
numbers
pay
game.
That's
full
right.
thing.
Yeah.
To get maybe more on the house and drive up that competition.
And sometimes
Something
more
to
is
be
not
considered.
is not
always.
better. I'm dealing with a for sale by owner right now. They are getting a slew of offers. I'm one of the offers on the table. We are not the highest offer, but we won because we are in constant communication with them, and
Yeah,
the
it's a
seller
big deal.
is overwhelmed with what is coming at them. So. Who you work with matters, and who's on the other line of that phone also matters, because there's just a lot that goes into selling your house. It's not just putting it on the MLS. And if you're working with someone like that, you got to move away.
I'm all for saving money, but don't cheap out.
Yeah,
okay, I'm all for,
definitely.
but don't go cheap.
All right. Last thoughts is too. A lot of times you're selling that listing agent, also as your buyer's agents on that, and you want to put that whole thing together and develop that
Absolutely.
relationship. There's a lot going on here.
Definitely.
Good stuff.
What a
Hey, the
great
show
show.
goes by real
Phenomenal.
quick.
Thank you guys for coming in. Thanks for
Yeah,
bringing the
thank you,
dog.
guys.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
the
bringing in
Cookie Monster.
Jacob. Thanks for everything. We appreciate you guys.
Okay, y'all. We got Pat Caputo coming up with sports. He's going to talk Lions draft and a whole lot more. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll see you next Saturday.